Hi, Society Stitchers. I'm Katie.
I'm Laura.
I'm Athena.
We are back for round 2 of unboxings of Retreat in a Box from the Black Needle Society.
And this time up, we have the Black Needle Society box. So this is the Night Garden edition.
So we're just going to dive right in. So all of these things are, I designed a pattern last year during COVID, and we kind of built the retreat around that design. And it was Night Garden-y pattern.
And we've had that retreat, and that was a lovely, relaxing event.
It was.
So.
And each year, so every year we'll have a Black Needle Society retreat. And sorry, I'm getting distracted.
You're good.
Each year we'll have a retreat, but each year the theme will be different. So this year's theme was the Night Garden.
We already know next year's, but we'll
talk about that at the end, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's jump in.
Okay.
First up then is the Midnight Moth Needleminder, designed by the Black Needle Society. Let this midnight moth keep your needles safe while your project progresses through its own phases, from start to middle to completed. I love this one. It's one of the enamel needle minders.
It's called a photodome needle minder. So it's got the really nice metal backing to it. It's very solid, but it's also really lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
And the really super strong magnets.
Mm-hmm. So pretty.
I have all of my stuff in a bag next to me, and I knew where we were starting, but it was just like, oh, that's this tiniest thing, and I can't find it.
So next is the Savor Life Thread Pack, made by Gentle Art Sampler Threads and Weeks Dye Works. All threads required to stitch both patterns included in this box. It's a beautiful set.
So, I'll just start with the weeks. Do you want to go from there, and I'll read things out and you can show them, since we'll probably blow our colors out on this end. First up, we have Twilight. Then we have
blue,
linen, then we have Forest Glade.
Love that one. That is the prettiest variegated green.
I have 2 apparently. Which means that I am also missing that in my set. Old Hickory. Then we have Flax. Then Tea Rose. Evergreen.
And that's all I have.
And
Punchberry.
Punchberry.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Told y'all it's in a bag. I should organize this better.
Okay, now appropriately, the next thing up is the French lilac fabric. So you get to see what this looks like on it.
Pretty.
It is made by Picture This Plus, and there's fabric enough for you to stitch both pieces included in this box. So you want me to hold this and you hold your threads in front?
So we've said we got asked this during the retreat. You should have enough, if you have a 2-inch margin around your piece, to stitch
your larger piece
to stitch both pieces on here. And then if you start, then you'll use your remnant. And if you start from the center of your snail, you should have enough to do your snail.
Ugh, this is so pretty.
And I'm sure you're looking at linen on their side, and on my side, you're looking at 18 count Ada.
Yes.
You want to hold it up again? Because I feel like it's a pretty consistent color.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
It is.
Gorgeous, darling.
Such a pretty color. Okay, I'm going to let them get settled and put things away here. Then the next thing up is the Slow Start 3-inch square. Designed by the Black Needle Society. This handy measuring tool can be placed at the edge of your fabric to find the ideal starting point for your piece. We recommend a 2-inch border around your Savor Life piece.
And this one has little metallic dots in it too, to kind of look like stars.
So the numbers are around the outside edge, and you could measure, I mean, depending on how close you want your border, you'll be able to figure out where that falls. So the little snail. Yes, Katie now has a tail.
Hi, Pia. And so yeah, it has the 2 dots that you can measure. This is what 2
2
Yeah,
inches,
2
and 2
inches
and a
and
half,
2.5.
and 3 to the corner. Yes.
right. And that cute little snail pattern.
Okay, it's the big one. The Night Garden Project Bag, designed by the Black Needle Society. Keep all of your project materials together and safe in this extra large project bag, featuring exclusive artwork from Katie at the Black Needle Society. She
Of
reworked,
the corners.
yes, she reworked some of the elements, and oh, so pretty.
I like I said, I actually designed the pattern first for the box, which we'll show you here in a while. But I designed the pattern and then we built everything around it. So then I got to reimagine, redesign this moth on this bag. So it was fun kind of reconceptualizing it.
Adding details that you're not able to get with cross stitch. Like, you know, we've got the little stars and stuff down here and the gradient of color there. So
yeah,
that's
playing with
amazing.
texture and all of that. And then yeah, it was just, this was a really fun one. I really enjoy this bag because it was just a fun one for me to play with different drawing styles and painting styles and see what I came up with. And this is it.
And Athena told us that an 11 by 11 Q snap will fit in there.
You know what else fits in
as
here?
long as you don't have a lot of fabric.
You know what else fits in here? The entire contents of this box.
Yep, that's how I had everything in here. So yeah, it's good size.
So next we have the Grow at Home plant kit curated by the Black Needle Society. Feeling inspired to start your own garden? Use this kit to get a head start on a forget-me-not plant whose blooms remind us of tiny stars. And oh, Athena got hers out.
Yep. You can pop the corners if you don't want to tear the packaging, and it'll just slide right out. And then yes.
And it's been stamped with our little moth, been printed with our little moth.
And then inside you have a little packet of seeds. And then there's a little disc with some soil. It's dehydrated soil, so you just add some water to it and go. And it even has a little really thin layer here, so water can come up through. So this is actually a drip tray, so you just put your water in this tray and put your planter in here and the water will go up through the bottom.
Oh, cool. I didn't know water could go through there. Okay. Awesome. I knew that this was like the tray so you could set it in there so it didn't like leak all over the place. But yeah, cool.
So we were like, it's a night garden box. We should be able to send you something to grow.
And it has all the moon phases around the outside of the moth.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Then to go with that, we also have the Gold Ort Planter Bag. Curated by the Black Needle Society, use this plant bag to cover any temporary plant pots. Also makes a great place to stash your orts while stitching.
So Athena has it how it comes out of the box. And then I have cuffed the edge of mine just to give it a little more stability. And I just think it also creates a nicer finished edge to it. But yeah, it's perfect for if you get like one of those little potted plants from like Walmart or something like that that are in just a temporary pot. This is a great way to hide the plasticky temporary pot and just have something really pretty growing out of it. Or you could have used it as an work jar during the weekend. It's a really big work jar, but it also works.
But they were stitching like crazy.
They were.
Those 2-hour challenges. Then next we have the stamped snail necklace made by Wickwish Candle Co. We couldn't send a black needle box without including a snail. We've become fond of snails after a digital dive game played at last year's retreat. Have you been keeping an eye out for snail patterns during the last year?
So Rachel at Wickwish, you guys may recognize her name. She's worked with us on several candles and other products for the box. There's our little snail.
He's so cute.
She got this exclusively for us. She got this stamp exclusively for us. And he's just so cute. Adorable.
Yes, so cute.
And she has some in here. She has her business card, but she also has some care instructions on how to keep your necklace in good shape.
And we have heard some people say that they are taking the charm off and using it to make a scissor fob
or a Needleminder. We heard Needleminder, but I also had thought that you could take this and double the chain over a couple of times on your scissors and create a scissor fob. And you'd have your own little snail scissor fob. So
cute.
Are you getting background noise on my end at all?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
You're probably getting some noise from our end because somebody's in the kitchen.
No, I definitely have noise going on here on my end. So I'm just checking. And you know what? Those remnants of the digital retreats. Are you getting background noise from me? I can mute. Would you like me to mute? So much.
Next up is the Black Needle Scissor Scarf, designed by the Black Needle Society. We love the idea of including a lightweight scarf with the embroidery scissor pattern featured on our Black Needle Society branding.
Yes.
Perfect for summer evenings.
So if you've received a box from us, we have this on the outside of every single one of our boxes.
And the color is gradient across it.
It goes from gold to a purpley color down in the bottom corner. And we love this because yes, it's part of our branding, but also it's embroidery scissors. I feel like almost every single stitcher has a pair of these stork embroidery scissors, and it's just fun. So even you can just enjoy it for the fact that it's a stitching accessory on a scarf.
You guys were modeling it and I was over here. You guys said that. Vanna Whiting. It was so cute.
There you go. Oh, then we have the Savor Life finishing pack made by Lady Dot Creates. I was lucky enough to have the extremely talented Lois finish both pieces for this year's Black Needle Society box. Her finishing skills are inventive and extraordinary. She's put together a kit and instructions so you can finish your own pieces into a drawstring bag and pin cushion as well.
And Lois included very detailed instructions for us.
Okay, so this finishing pack, amazing. Like, I haven't opened mine up because I haven't started stitching yet, but really, like, there's got to be a lot of paper in here because it's really thick. And then I even noticed there's like and that's like cardboard. It's a cardboard template so that when you're doing finishing, you can use that as your template. There's pins, there's pom-poms, like, what is that called again? all the things. It's so cute, so amazing. Thank you so much.
Such really pretty materials.
Lois was, first of all, is amazing, but second of all, was cracking me up because we got to talk to her on the phone actually during our week-long road trip. While we're driving, I think in Virginia, we were talking to Lois on speakerphone, and she had just gotten the models in. She was like, okay, well, I'll do this one as this, but I really like this little one. And she was so excited about the smaller pattern, which we'll show you here in a minute. But
I'm remembering something that you told me, and I don't know, hopefully I can share. She's like, how do you think you want this finished? And Katie's like, I don't know, maybe a pillow. And she's like, no, you don't.
I think what I told her was, I have no idea. The most exciting thing I can think of is a pillow. And she was like, well, we could maybe do this instead. She was very polite about it. It was like, we can do better.
We're not doing a pillow.
Just isn't happening.
But that's why you ask Lois to do your finishing for you, because she is brilliant and she has all of these ideas on what she can finish your projects into and make it amazing for you. And yeah, so that's why I asked, Amazing Genius to do these for me.
So we're talking about them, so let's get to them. Moonrise snail bonus pattern designed by the Black Needle Society. I couldn't resist trying my hand at designing a snail for our night garden retreaters. So
Oh my God, it's so cute.
And these models were stitched by Keisha.
Yes. And look on the back.
So that's the template, the cardboard template that you'll be using for this round finish.
And she even included the things to make the pins.
Yes.
Or she included the pins.
My bow is
yeah, she included the pins.
Yep. It is so cute. Love that.
No, she made the pins. She has the pins in the whole finishing kit. Yes, all assembled.
And this is pattern number 5 from the Black Needle Society.
So
because this one came first.
Yes. So then we have the Savor Life pattern designed by the Black Needle Society. This pattern was designed in 2020. I was inspired by a wall calendar hanging in our living room, which featured this quote as one of the months. During lockdown and amongst the ongoing reports of COVID-19 cases and deaths, it was an important reminder to not take this life for granted. I was inspired to include it amongst a night garden because though this was a dark moment in our history, I hoped and believed new life would begin and thrive. I hope you enjoy stitching this piece and it reminds you to savor the small moments of life, both good and bad.
Very well written.
I write a lot better than I speak.
I noticed more than one person getting a little emotional reading that little tidbit off the card. And it's great. It's great. Deceptively from this pattern, you're like, oh, a cute little bag. Hold it up again, Katie. It's a big bag.
Okay, and again, Keisha stitched this model. You want to tell the story about Keisha and the model?
Okay, so I showed Keisha the design first of all that I'd sketched, and she was like, I want to stitch that. And she already had that. When I also showed her the Frogwarts Year 1 model, she was like, I want to stitch that. So
Keisha and I each stitch the Frogwarts model, and we're just doing it 2 different ways. And if you don't know, Keisha is accounting for stitches on Instagram, and she's my filming partner for the Pattern Queens. But the other thing was that while she was stitching the year-run Frogwarts pattern, which had to be done first.
Yes. And this, she was pregnant with her first baby. And so she had started this model. She finished Frogwarts before giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
Which because that is no small undertaking. So then she turned her attention to this, and she did finish this after her son came into the world. And as she was finishing up, he started to really enjoy the flosses and things, and it became his pretty cross stitch, which I included on the back of the pattern. I did include a little thank you to Keisha and a little thank you to Lois, and I talked about how it was his pretty cross stitch.
So I just think it came out so beautiful.
It
and
did.
You can see the moth definitely is repeated. I mean, the Needleminder is a very good representation of what she designed on the cross stitch piece. And
we kept hearing people during the weekend stitching on this that the moth was deceptively a lot larger and more detailed than they initially thought.
Yeah, they were like, oh, the moth. I was gonna say the pattern itself is 139 by 152. So yeah, it's not a small pattern.
No.
So Katie and I would be going through and checking the stitching challenges, and people would say how many stitches they completed on this. And I know at one point I said, wow, that's a lot of stitches in that lettering. They got that many in this 2-hour time period. And I was just amazed at how many stitches were in it. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think though that the winner of this box for everybody
Yes.
seems to be the little snail. Which I'm so glad. If you we have I don't know if we've said this on a previous video. I'm sure we have. The snail became a thing during our 2019 show me retreat, or sorry, 2020 show me retreat. Online, when we had two teams trying to find this very specific snail on a pattern, and it's taken a life of its own on, and so we've kind of adopted the snail as our Black Needle Society mascot almost. And we had curated this box, and I was like, how am I not sending a snail pattern? And so, and so it's like, I need to make a snail pattern for this box. And so yeah, I created my little moonrise snail for it, and I'm now feeling like I need to do a snail every year.
it may be it. And during the retreat, they had an event where they had to find as many snail patterns as they could, and we gave a prize for that one. And during the retreat, we neglected to mention that Athena has a shirt that she is providing for the winner. Do you have the shirt by you?
I have not made the shirt yet. I was just trying to see actually if I have the
I have what you sent us, but
yeah, maybe in there. I don't this wasn't part of the plan. Hang on.
it looks similar to this.
There you go. Black Needle Society snailed it champion.
So Jessica
And
Allison,
the fun part about that is that if you notice, like, the snail in multiple places is sort of like changing color and kind of like rainbowy. So and I don't think the winner knows this yet, but the print, this is going to be the print. Oh yeah. It's so much fun. I can't wait to finish that shirt.
So that was a fun thing that we just neglected to do during the retreat.
oh,
but
yeah. Because
it'll be so fun.
After 2 weeks of retreating and doing the final closing, it was not like right there with all of the gifts as we were going through them. And so, yeah.
And about 5 minutes after we got off, I think Athena messaged us and said, so
who won that shirt? Like,
darn it. This is why we include little slips of paper in those bags.
I was honest though, I didn't know, I actually didn't know like who was getting that prize, if it was like the overall winner, if it was like a dive winner, like, yeah. But that dive was like, find all the patterns with the snail, find the scissor fobs with the snail, find the needle minders with the snail, like just go find snails, send them to us. And now we're gonna keep that album so we can find all the snails.
It was fun. And then I think some people or somebody posted after the retreat was over, when your browser starts suggesting all of the snail cross stitch to you.
And we also had people saying, okay, now I have to go back and add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. So
Jessica, fun fact, the person who won the Snailed It Champion dive, she said that she was literally like screenshot, add to cart, screenshot, add to cart, screenshot, add to cart. So much. It's like, oh my gosh. The fun part of digital dives.
Yes.
So this was again a digital retreat, and we've really enjoyed this format because it lets us chat with a lot of people
and include a lot of people.
Yes. A lot of people who wouldn't be able to make the trip and make all of the time work to travel and do everything, but they are able to take this amount of time off and do the retreat with us and enjoy the events. And
so but next year, we know we've been asked many times, when are you going to have an in-person retreat? So we have already been planning that next year's Black Needle Society retreat will be in person. So the only two digital retreats that we will have next year are Frogwarts and our Summer in Stars Hollow digital retreat.
And the tentative dates that we're looking for next year would be August 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And depending on how things go, there may be some sort of warm-up thing event on Wednesday the 3rd, but it'll be a Thursday through Sunday retreat, just like our other digital retreats.
Yes.
So
I don't know if we'll have the warm up because I feel like that's probably when we'll be setting up the room and stuff on Wednesday night.
It could be that's where we find a restaurant and say, come have dinner.
Yep.
This night garden one was actually planned to have been in person. Who knew how long COVID was actually going to last and affect us? But like in the planning process, like curating
vaccinations were not a thing.
Yeah, it was back in December, like when we would have had to have been like finding place, formalizing plans. So back then, it did not look possible to have an in-person event in 6 months.
We were working with a local hotel.
Yes.
And they were awesome, but their restrictions at that point meant that we would have 10-foot tables in the room. We could only have about 16 of them, we think is the number they get in this huge ballroom. And then we could only put 2 people at each table.
Yeah.
So the restrictions at that point were significant.
And we understood it was for safety, and we 100% understood that. But we also felt like we owed the people attending a lot more than what we would be able to deliver with those restrictions. So
we opted to wait for another year, and that just means we have more time to plan. Oh, and you were taunting them that we already know what the theme is.
Yes. So the theme for next year is Camp Black Needle Society. Yes. We're going back to the past. And
we did a mini box.
That
was Camp Black Needle Society.
For anybody who's been with us from the very beginning, you will recognize the camp.
But we felt like we had so many more ideas that we could do with it, and especially with a retreat for like an actual in-person retreat format. So that's going to be what we do next year. I think it's going to be fun. I already have pictures of what the snail pattern is going to look like in my head. It's going to be adorable. I just have to get it on paper. But it's going to be, I'm excited for it. So I hope you guys are excited for it. I think s'mores have got to be a thing there. And all the things. I could just start spitballing planning the box right here, but you guys don't want to hear that, do you?
Details for that again will be in the future. It'll probably be like December, January, maybe-ish when details on that start coming out. So
yes.
And the best place to get all of your spoilers is at one of our monthly Stitch With Us nights. And we have set the date for August.
Yes.
It is August 21st. On a Saturday. We will stitch from 6 p.m. until we usually stitch until about midnight. And it depends on when Katie gets a little tired, then she decides to spill all the beans. So,
and if Athena's gone to sleep by then,
then you really get a lot of beans.
Everybody likes to joke, Athena's not here. Tell us. It's my job to make sure they don't go spilling beans like crazy. We've got to keep some secrets.
We have all the secrets. Okay. With that, we're going to leave you and we're going to head on to our final unboxing of the day. And if you want to check that out, follow the next video.